everybody. Welcome. My name's Adriana Trigiani, and this is the cast of our love letter to hi, Bill Loman from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. He follows me everywhere. You know, this is a really, really special night for us because we went down a year ago to Big Stone Gap, Virginia to make a movie, and tonight you're going to see the fruits of our labors. And the movie is romantic and beautiful, and it begins really with the cast. And the cast, the only requirement they really had, because they're so brilliant, is they needed words. So I'd like to begin with Miss Ashley Judd, if I might, and just tell you that, you know, every time I saw her do a scene, in my mind I think Betty Davis, Myrna Loy, classic movie stars of the golden age of Hollywood. And she delivers this lonely woman in this performance and changes full circle through the whole film. It's remarkable. And I almost don't want to sit here. I want to get down there and start the movie going. So then there's Patrick Wilson. And you always want, when you have Ashley, you're going to always want Patrick Wilson because Patrick Wilson has roots deep in Big Stone Gap. But Patrick is the kind of actor, again, classic actor. He can do anything, sing, dance, tell jokes. But he also can burrow in deep. I call him, in the building of the movie, he's the steel beams. He's the architecture of the movie. And you will see, when we go downstairs, what I'm talking about. Patrick, it's an amazing performance. It's not only beautifully rendered, it's also really surprising. And people are gonna, I know you haven't seen it all yet either, so you're gonna go crazy. Okay, then I have Miss Jenna Elfman here, and Miss Jenna Elfman, when I would do, well, if the classic movie stars in my head, I kept going Constance Bennett, because she filled the doorway. And the perfect complement to Ashley's entire arc is this incredible comedian, and also, she is incredibly hilarious. So, just to give you a little story about Jenna, we had a situation which you always have when you make these movies where you can't go back to where you were. And so I said, Jenna, I said, I'm going to have to write the speech for you that you have to deliver at the magic hour, which you only have a few minutes, right, to get that light to match the coal mine. You'll see this scene. And it's a big honker of a speech. And I said, Jenna, this is Henry V. This is Henry V. And I go, it's Henry V, and this is your St. Crispin's Day speech. And she said, Adrian, really not that good with Shakespeare, and I don't know who Crispy is, but I'll do it. Call him Crispy. Call him Crispy. Okay. Then I have Paul Wilson, and Paul Wilson really is the magnificent surprise. Because Patrick will tell you in Southern Living that he got into acting because of Paul. And you're going to see why in the movie. He lopes into the scene like John Wayne. Again, classic movie persona, head to toe, long, tall, really funny, really committed, hilarious. And I can't imagine this movie without you. Now, down the line here, I have, standing on the outside, representing our local acting repertory, the Big Stone Gap players. That's Ricki Wiles, he was president of the Library Club when we were in high school. And, yes, so we were very close. And now he's the manager at the Pepsi-Cola plant, and he is, okay, when Ricki had to do his scene with Patrick, which you'll see, and Ashley, I was in the back, and we're watching in the monitor with our tremendously gifted director of photography, who's a genius, Reynaldo Villalobos, and Ricki had never acted before. And he came into the scene, and he does really his best Robert De Niro. And I said to Ray, what's with Robert De Niro? I said, so I wanted to ask Ricki, how did you know how to do that? Because he lowered his voice, he went in, he did this thing, played off of Ashley, it's brilliant. So that's Ricki Wiles. Then we have Bridget Gabbe, who's actually a professional actress, and she's from New York. And she's not a Big Stone Gap player, she's a transplant, but she is an absolute delight, has a huge future ahead of her. She plays Taylor Slagle, who's the most popular girl in town and just a little tiny bit loose. But she's definitely redeemed in the end, right, Bridget? Okay.
I'd say so.
Yes, I would say so. And next to her is another find of the century, is our Erika. And our Erika plays a beautiful, yeah, I know. I think I would remember. She plays Pearl Grimes, and Pearl Grimes is the girl who Ave Maria sees her potential. But really, Erika, what we saw was not just your potential making this movie. What we saw was the realization of your big talent. So just get ready, she hasn't seen it either. No. And next to her is probably, I have been friends the longest with Miss Jasmine Guy. I met her, my first job was writing for, do you remember A Different World, the Cosby spinoff? Yeah, you all went to college because of it. Look, everybody here's 12. So, we became dear and close friends back then. We each have a daughter. They're kind of close in age. When I called her and I said, I've got this part, she jumped. And that's Jasmine. She will do whatever you need, anytime, anywhere.
She's so
and
good in this movie.
she is so good in this movie. You're going to be blown away by her too. Now,
Jenny, you've seen it already?
yes.
I was going to say, you're the one that's seen it. Yeah. We're jealous.
So now we would like to take any questions that you might have for us, and to any of our brilliant actors.
What? What does that mean?
Gotta see the movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it either, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You're ready.
You're brilliant in it.
Thank you.
Very
I just thought I would ask, you filmed it in Big Stone Gap. Did that help you understand the story? And what did you do with your downtime in Big Stone Gap?
Oh, man.
I ate my way through town.
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we all did.
Okay, she's a perfect physical specimen, this girl, and she said to me, I'm not kidding. It's October, it's candy season. Bring it on. People, Ricki, what did you make for Ashley?
Peanut butter fudge.
Peanut butter fudge.
So nice.
Upside down.
I never learned that.
And there was this pumpkin pie that
Yes.
was so delicious.
Uh-huh.
And my bonus niece was living, I had such a good time on experiencing Big Stone Gap. And the serious answer is that the story and the place and the characters are fused. They're inseparable. And I was able to live in this little cabin near the woods, and I hiked and enjoyed the mountains. And this pie was still warm when it was delivered. And we were driving home, and I said to Beatrice, where's the pie? She said, it's in the trunk. And I said, why? And it was gone by the time we got home. And it's a small town. The food was so good.
Cream delight. We all
Yes,
can't forget cream
Very
delight.
delight, very delight.
Very delight.
Yes.
Karen Hall,
Yes.
she was baking like elves and shoemakers for Ashley, just keep it coming.
Yeah.
But the pineapple cake was great.
What was it? What was
Many
the
offers
shooting?
on Facebook for home-cooked meals. Because it's really like, it's all fast food restaurants except for the Mexican restaurant and Chinese restaurant.
Yes,
And
yeah.
you can go to those, and then you can go to those, and you go to them again, and then you go to them again, and then you kind of like, go to them again. You know, and then the offers for home-cooked meals became very appealing. And
Tell how the Wilson family lived.
We camped. I had an incredible opportunity to camp on Wilson Road, named after his grandfather and my grandfather. And we had all kinds of fun in a house that we spent our summers playing, learning to fish, learning to play golf.
Wow.
It was an emotional reconnect like nothing I had ever expected. I mean, if I personally never do anything like this again, that's fine. Because I've done this, you know.
Wow.
What was your shooting schedule like? I mean, was it rushed, long days as usual, or how did it work out there?
pretty steady.
It was 20 days.
Yeah.
It was 20 days. And we would get through the first part of the day, and we would break for dinner, and the people that invent this schedule, as you know, it's some circadian rhythms or whatever it is. And then you would get to dinner and you'd go, oh, we only have 9 hours to go, we'll be fine. So you did kind of 2 days in one.
But the town is the cast of the movie.
Oh, yes.
You know, the extras in the church or at the restaurant, they're all from Big Stone Gap. This was like, for Adri to bring her story back to her hometown to shoot it was wonderful. I really met some great people. I remember being on the front porch of a house, you know, when we did the party scene, and I was talking to a little old lady in the corner, and she was your librarian.
Yes, we
Everybody
really-
I met knew you.
Yes.
I mean, it was like, that was amazing.
You know, that leads to a story that I gotta tell. So we're shooting this wedding scene, which you'll see downstairs, okay? And it is the
Sobering.
it is
It's a sober wedding.
the
Yes,
denouement,
pious. We're
okay?
very pious.
And I called my high school librarian and I said, listen, my highest dream is to have you in this movie. So will you come? She said, what do I wear? I said, your Sunday best. So she came and she had her hair done and everything. And she sat down, and this was the scene in the house where you give that, well, you'll see. And so it's Jenna and it's Ashley and this whole thing, and then Erika in the scene. So it's going fine, and we're gonna do this scene 3-4 times as we are wont to do. And we do it 4 times, and then I see my high school librarian get up, and she's just tiptoeing through all the wires. She said, I need to talk to you. And she says, I need to leave. What are you talking about? You have to be here all day. You're in the shot now.
You can't leave.
And I grabbed her by the collar, and I said, Miss Scott, you have to stay. You can't leave. So Matty Weiner came over, and he said, she's got a dead ringer. So what are you talking about? He said, Ruby Crest. Put Ruby Crest in the chair. Nobody will know the difference. So I said, Miss Scott, you can go home. And I got Greg Crest's mother, Ruby, because they go to the same hairdresser. So they had the same do. So for Eagle Eye, you'll be able to stop that DVD someday and see my high school librarian, Billie Jean, morph into Ruby Crest. She said, this is what she said to me. She said, show business is not for me.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't feeling it.
Yes!
But you talked
She had
about
to
how
reverse it.
brilliant you were as a child.
Yeah, right.
Always. She knew you were going to make it.
And the support from Big Stone Gap was what meant so much to us, all of us. Just walking everywhere we went, somebody pointed us out and said, oh my goodness, I know who you are. And it was just, it was so interesting to me whenever they would see me and Jasmine together. They would, and when they didn't see us together, oh, how's your mom doing? And I'm like,
She plays my
how
daughter.
do you know my mom? Like,
I play her
I'm like,
mother.
we just saw her, you know, and I'm like, oh, we're talking about Jasmine Guy, she's doing great, you know. But the support of Big Stone Gap was what meant so much to all of us, and it was just so amazing to have that support group, and to just kind of be there and film in that. It's beautiful.
The whole town was a part of this movie.
It was. It was.
Patrick, just following up on what Paul said, given your family history there and your family's imprint is all over this movie, how has this film from beginning to end differed from all the other films you've done?
I mean, there's this. I'd say this experience happens rarely, but this experience never happens. Really, I mean, it's really for me and for Paul. Selfishly speaking, I mean, this is just one of those. The only downside to this for us was that we stayed in our grandparents' house and they couldn't be here to see it. I mean, we had, and you have to understand without going on too long, I mean, during the course of the movie too, right before we started shooting, my dad, who grew up in Big Stone, was here tonight, and my dad had recently, we had found out who our great-great-great-grandfather, 2 of them, just great-great, the first Wilson that came to Big Stone Gap, because we're on Wilson Road, you pass Wilson Bridge, and our family, our second cousins, everybody's on this road, which didn't get paved till in the 90s. And right before we started shooting, we found where this grave was of this guy that we had never heard about, and my dad, so it was all about family. We went up and got our machetes and hiked through the woods and found it, and I put a pin down, on my phone, I'm going to remember where this is, and I put a pin down that says Wilson Cemetery.
Wow.
And I was like, first I was like, well, it's amazing, then I was like, all we had to do was Google Wilson Cemetery. But that's the personal side to this film for us. I mean, coming home every night to this house that was that we grew up mostly in Florida, but this was our vacation home. It was where we learned just to be just little boys running crazy and our youth.
First time we met her was in my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
And we'd hear about,
Yeah.
you know,
We had heard about
Adriana
Adriana's
Trigiani
story.
story. You know where she is? She works for Bill Cosby.
Yeah, and so we had heard about it for years,
Yeah.
about Adrian, and then about the movie, and then years ago when it was when it was getting ready the first time, and I don't think at the time I was really, ready to play Jack Mack, so I was hoping that maybe the movie didn't go like 5 years, that I'd sort of, be able to grow into it. So there was a number of things that, if I'm just talking about myself, which I hate to just do, but it was just one of those things that they just don't happen like this. They really don't. And I think maybe my story and our story is a good symbol for everybody's experience of this sort of, whether you know about Big Stone Gap or not, it's a movie about home and about family and wherever your ties are. I mean, Anthony Lapaghi is not here. He's from Australia, but I'm sure he'd have the same stories about his town. And when you see how Adriana relates to small towns, in the greatest films, no matter how specific they are to one area, they of course have a real global appeal. And I think that's what this movie does. It's just very specific about Big Stone. It is just having Ricki literally standing at the end of a table right now is crazy to me.
In a tux.
In a tux. I mean, this is Big Stone Gap. The support that we had through shooting, we could never imagine that someday we're going to come here and shoot a movie in Big Stone. I mean, you're from around there. There's no way. And the fact that this happened, that all these great people came together, that we're honestly sitting here in this theater right now, I mean, it is just one of those, in a business that gets so much crap about it being vapid and not understanding and the money and this and that. It's sometimes just about a bunch of great people coming together to tell a story about who they are, and I think that's, okay, I can't look at her, I start crying. And she's got the same experience. She's just over the hill. It's the same damn thing.
Yeah, they care about the heart of the story.
That's what this movie is. If nothing else, you want people to see that tonight. I think that's why we all get very passionate about it.
And the joy for me in seeing something that I know was in Adri's heart, 14, 15 years ago. I know because I just had my baby. And she said, I wrote a screenplay, but I think I'm going to write a book to go with the screenplay. I said, ain't that backwards? Why you got to write a book? She believed that the book would help get the movie done. And I was amazed, within months, we talk every couple of months, and she had done this, and I thought, of all the projects that we've all tried to do in our lives and that we try to do in our work, and Adriana did it, and you remembered everybody. You remembered your librarian, you remembered me, you remember Whoopi, you remember, all along the way, she said, I'm going to put you in my movie. But this is over a period of years.
That never happens.
That never happens.
I was at Ashley's house
I
10 years
couldn't
ago.
believe it.
Remember? I came down and saw Ashley, and it just all came together. You all were there at the same, it's magical, really.
So you got your word, because you didn't have to do a movie. You're like a novelist now. You're like a big,
I like that
writer thing.
By myself. Drinking coffee in my pajamas.
So it's pretty clear we could talk about this movie all night, but we have 1,100 people that want to see it.
Well,
we do have one special guest who'd like a photo. We don't always honor this request, but when it's the governor of Virginia, we do. So Governor Terry McAuliffe would like to come up and take a photo.
Oh my God!
Thanks for all coming. You see, Virginia.
That's fantastic.
Great. How you doing, man? Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Long time no see. How you been?
Very well.
Good to see you. Look great.
Hi.
How y'all doing? Thanks for coming.
Thank
Great.
you.
Greatest film of all time.
We're so happy you're here.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you for
great.
coming.
Thank
It's all
you. So we got a bunch going on. We got Turner, the second season now going on. We got Ithaca being filmed in downtown Richmond. And Tom Hanks was here the other night, Meg Ryan, it was great. Hey, we got a lot of, this is the place to make movies. Sure.
Yes, yes.
Let's do it.
Forget all that Hollywood stuff, that's overrated now.
Governor, if you go around back.
Yes, absolutely, and then we can all squeeze in.
Everybody squeeze. And one right here for the festival. Thank you very much. And can you go closer?
Yeah.
Sure.
We love it down there, yeah.
You guys are awesome. All right. Festival guy, can you back up? All right, here we go. Ready?
I like that.
And what are here again?
Governor, up here. The oxygen seats.
All right, everybody, I'm gonna pull rank.
All right.
Festival director.
Joni's in, all right, get back together.
One last one.
Yeah.
Festival director, moving closer, because you're right at the...